Venom is launched. Centaur Revisited is also launched. Lots of new job appointments.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Houston. I'm the editor of Pinball Magazine, and I'm joined by...
Hi, I'm Martin Hebb, and I'm the editor of Pinball News, and we're here to look back on all the excitement that took place in the pinball world during the month of July 2023.
Right, and it's been quite an exciting month. Yes, yeah. 2 new game announcements, so to speak, although one is a rerun, and one new game that we have been expecting for over a year. And so lots of news. So let's dive in straight away, shall we?
Yeah, our first headline is about the launch of Stern Pinball's new Venom game, which is designed by Brian Eddy.
Yes, who we know of Attack from Mars, Medieval Madness, and Stranger Things that he did for Stern, which apparently, while being a lukewarm title when launched, apparently is going back into production due to demand.
Okay.
Popular demand, I would say.
Okay. Well, that's good news that there's still demand for that title. So, his latest game, I should say, is Venom, based on the Marvel character.
Yeah, I never heard of that, by the way, but okay.
No, it wasn't one I was familiar with. I did know there was a movie some time ago, which I think I watched on a plane and decided I didn't really get on with. I didn't think it was that exciting. I can't remember whether it's Tom Hardy who was playing the lead character who became Venom. But anyway, doing a bit of research to find out more about the Venom character, it seems like there's a lot of opportunities for interaction between Venom and other Marvel Universe characters. And that, of course, is what has turned up, materialized in the Stern game.
Yeah, which is also immediately one of the things that turns me off instantly. Because it reminds me of you really have to be aware of or knowledgeable about, in this case, the license Venom, the comic.
Yes.
Because if you're not, you have no clue what why you should pick a character to or something else.
Well, the whole concept is a bit alien, if you didn't pardon the pun. When you first walk up to it, and it says, pick your host. If you don't know anything about Venom, you go, well, what's a host?
Yeah, but that's the same like on Game of Thrones, pick your house.
That was confusing as well.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm not that fond of all those options, because I think it makes pinball less accessible to people in general.
Yeah, although I suspect a significant number of casual players will just walk up to it and just play whatever it gives you. Just hit the launch button and take it from there.
Right.
But it is one of those games, or it seems to be one of those games. We should stress we haven't played it. It did premiere at Comic-Con this year. Not entirely surprising given the theme.
Yeah,
where it was available to play both on the show floor and in the special Stern presentation in a neighbouring hotel.
Right.
So
and for the first time at Comic-Con, as far as I am aware, Stern did actually a presentation on the reveal of the game with Brian Eddy present and Seth Davis as well, and Zach Sharp, head of Stern's marketing division.
Right, so sort of like a panel.
Yes. Which I don't think we've seen at Comic-Con before.
No.
Panels, yes, but not with Stern Pinball.
Yeah, well, I think this particular title was particularly appropriate for that show and to do a presentation or a seminar with. It's as we said, it's Brian Eddy design, Dwight Sullivan leading up the software.
Right.
So you can be pretty sure there'll be lots of deep rules in this game. Mm-hmm. The art, of course, is by Zombie Yeti, Jeremy Packer.
Yeah.
And we will come back to him a little bit later in this section.
Yeah.
There'll be a little news about him. But So when they launched it, as they generally do now with new cornerstone games anyway, there was a small number of limited edition models available. We should say, as a cornerstone game, there is the Pro, the Premium, and the LE. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's I think there's 1,000 LEs.
Yes,
available for that. Pricing was, I think the limited edition was priced at $12,999, so $13,000.
What?
Yeah, the premium was $9,699, so that's $3,300 less than the limited edition.
Right.
Okay. And the Pro model was priced, or is priced, at just under $7,000, $6,999. Mm-hmm. Which I don't think that's an increase on previous prices, but maybe for the limited edition it might be. But 13,000 is a lot for a limited edition. I think you're getting quite a bit. You'd want to be getting quite a bit for your extra $3,300.
Right. Yeah. I think at this point these price increases, or the current pricing anyway, is sort of causing a lukewarm response in the pinball enthusiastic market, so to speak.
Well, yeah, it's not exactly a what do you call it? An impulse buy, is it? At that kind of price, you don't immediately think, "Oh, I'll buy a limited edition," and then you look at the price, and then it causes you to think twice about it.
Yeah, exactly. So. So apparently, if we have to believe the rumors from the internet, lots of LEs and premiums and Pro models still available with Stern distributors all over the world. So if you're interested into one of these models, you might as well go for it now, because similar to Stranger Things, when that game was launched, also a Brian Eddy game at Stern,
yeah,
lukewarm reception, and over time people still warm up to the game, so to speak, and then they want it, but it's more expensive than when you could have bought it new in the first place.
Also, I think the software on Stranger Things improved significantly over time.
Yeah.
But as we mentioned last time in the previous month's PINcast, Venom has actually been ready to go for quite some time.
Yeah, I haven't seen any code updates for Venom, assuming that it's mostly complete already.
Yeah, it's certainly not at version 1.0 yet. I think it's only like 0.8. I'm probably wrong. I think it's on like 0.87 when they were showing it. But it seems to have an awful lot of software in there for a launch title, which is unusual for Stern. And so I think that's quite promising, because it gives people a very, very much better understanding of how the game's going to work eventually. With a lot of games they bring out, the code is at one level, and then it changes completely by the time it actually matures fully. Right. But I think what we're seeing now is quite deep. And we're talking about the code. I think it's actually worth looking at that a little more closely, because this is to me, the code is probably the most groundbreaking part of this game. Yeah, there's some different mechs on there, but they're not really anything we haven't seen before. Maybe the roll under targets for the on the right hand side for the doppelganger. That's slightly different, but it's in a way it's like a version of the crane that we've seen before on Batman and Dark Knight as well.
Yeah, okay.
But so the hardware is not hugely different.
Well, I thought the diverter on the Premium and the LE is something that we haven't seen.
It's true. It's a 3-position diverter, so it can either be a bash, or it can be a ball lock, or it can be a 180. I think. So you can roll under it. You can lock the ball, or it can be a 180 U-turn ramp. Yes, so it has 3 possible positions. And on the right-hand side, there's another ramp, which can either be a ramp or a roll under shot as well. But they're kind of like variations on something we've seen before. Mm-hmm. But what's really changed, I think, with this is what they call the tagline for the game is "Choose your host, change the game," which means that certainly on the LE and the premium, various aspects of the playfield change, i.e. that diverter, that ramp, the settings for those differ depending on who you pick as your start host character. Mm-hmm. But also, it's been far more integrated now with the Insider Connected system, which means that when you log on to the game, when you play your first game, however far you've got, that is saved against your account, and then if you go and play the game, either the same machine or another machine, it'll pick up from where you left off last time. Okay. So you can actually work your way through the entire game over time without having to start from scratch every time, which is a nice feature. And also it's got a timer which runs all the way through the game until you actually defeat the wizard mode. Right. So there's a high score for how long or the fastest person to complete it across multiple machines and multiple games. So I think that's a nice feature that they've added. I suppose that's something that will be rolled out maybe to previous titles as well. They do tend to have all these features like achievements and all that kind of stuff, ending up being retrofitted to previous titles. So it'd be nice to see that. Might actually add some, give some added impetus to older games to have this new feature.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. It makes me wonder immediately, once you walk up to a machine, it gives you the option to probably continue where you were or start all over again. But let's say you start over again. Do you still have the option on a future game to continue where you left the last time, not being the game that you're about to play?
Yeah,
because I
believe there is the option to reset your save position back to the beginning.
Right. Okay. Because I can imagine that if you're, for example, in company of other people playing along, you all want to start at the same point. If you're playing a 4-player game, for example. Because it wouldn't be fair scoring-wise, I suppose, if you're already, 3 levels deep in the game, scoring might be completely different compared to level 1.
Oh, true, but then you have the option of just not logging in if you want to start from the beginning.
True. Oh, yeah, sure. But you might miss out on another Insider Connected badge.
Yeah, achievement, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of those to go around, so I won't worry about that. So I don't know what else really to say about Venom. It's a beautiful looking game. So obviously got the art from Jeremy, as we said before. What was another interesting feature about the package is that it includes a dozen music tracks from Mark Tremonti from Alter Bridge, and I'm trying to think who his other band was, but. He previously, his main claim to fame, I suppose, would be that he has Creed, of course, yes, was his other band, was that he did music for Jersey Jack Pinball,
right?
Including the little sting that goes along with their title animation for the company.
Yeah, and also
the Godfather as well.
Yes, exactly. I was going to say we're going to get to that.
Sorry. Yeah. So he did a particular version of the main theme from the Godfather, which is included in the pinball machine. Mm-hmm. And, there's a video in there. You can actually see him performing it. Right. As well. So interesting to see that he's now doing stuff for Stern.
Right. Well, already did some time ago, I suppose, but...
Yes, that's right. Yes, that's true. Yeah, exactly. The timing of it is a little unclear.
Yeah. But that's probably just a freelance job anyway, so it doesn't prohibit him from working with any pinball company, I suppose.
Oh no, I'm sure not. No, I'm sure he's doing it for the love of pinball. He's a big pinball fan. I think we know that.
Yeah,
but not tied to just one company though, which is is always a danger. If you've got somebody who's really good at doing their job and their work is well appreciated, then there's the temptation to want to tie them up, especially if they're freelance, with your company, so they don't do any work for anybody else.
Right.
Which brings us on to an announcement that just came in yesterday at the time of recording about Jeremy Packer, aka Zombie Yeti.
Yes.
So we were talking about just now.
Yes, as he has been hired as a project artist at Stern Pinball, which leads me to assume that all the work he did so far on various games for Stern Pinball was as a freelancer. But apparently he's now a full-time employee.
Yes, indeed. So I don't think we've seen him do any artwork for any other company, but
I don't think he had the time.
No. So it's an interesting title though, project artist. I'm not quite sure how that ties in with the rest of the hierarchy there, because obviously Greg is still there as art director.
Right. Well, he's probably still under Greg then.
Yes, indeed. But
and he's assigned to a certain project, and he's doing all the artwork for that project. So it sort of makes sense.
As he was before. But,
yes, but not now as a Stern employee and not as a freelancer. I wonder if it means that he's going to get a cubicle at Stern and do his, or is he still working from his studio or home or wherever he used to work?
I wouldn't have thought there'd be much any change in his requirements to be at the factory.
No, I don't think so either.
No, I'm sure he'd much rather work in his own studio and his own surroundings. But maybe that just means he works on a wider range of projects. As well as doing stuff directly for the game that he's working on, he can be working on other Stern-related projects.
Right. Oh well, we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll find out. We'll probably get to hear from him in October, I suppose, when we go to Pinball Expo.
Right, yeah. So I do have to say that while I congratulate Jeremy on being hired as project artist at Stern, it seems to me that we're getting a little bit of Zombie Yeti overkill lately.
Yes, well, there have been a significant number of themes which have been suitable for his particular style of treatment,
right.
Shall we say. Lots of comic book styles. I can't imagine him doing something like the James Bond game, for instance. But I was looking back on previous titles that have come from Stern recently, and I'm thinking, yes, that's a Jeremy Packer one. That's another one. That's another one. That's another one. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Yeah, but they have all been
Deadpool, Turtles, Foo Fighters, of course.
Yeah,
Venom,
Iron Maiden.
Yeah, well, plenty to go around. So, but regardless of that, congratulations to Jeremy, and I
look forward to seeing many more from him. I guess, as he's now a Stern employee. So, well done, congratulations. But he is far from the only recent appointment.
Yeah, no, that's true. Now it's raining new appointment at Stern, although some we already discussed on previous episodes. Like the last one, Cal Spiteri from Marco, switching jobs and moving to Stern. We mentioned that last month.
Yes,
but there are more. There is Tim Morrison being hired as a technical service engineer. Julia Misteele as a senior staff accountant, and Dave Hedge as a game software tester and technician. I lost track which of these we already mentioned, other than.
We haven't. I don't think so. Quite a lot of these came in. Well, they all came in after our previous PINcast. It was interesting to see Dave Hegg there as an appointment as a game software tester and technician. I've known Dave or seen Dave around for quite a long time.
Right.
A popular player and also a technician at Logan, and I think I've seen him down at headquarters as well. for fixing up games there. So a popular character in the Chicago area as a game technician, and but now he's got that job at Stern and a software tester as well. So somebody who knows what they're talking about and knows the business. So a particularly good appointment there. The others don't know so well. Well, actually, don't know Tim or Julia that well. And there were some other appointments as well, which came in because we did mention about Elizabeth Geisk as a game software developer, and Madeleine Benz, I think we mentioned about a customer service representative. So that's dealing with the customers, the public. But also they've announced Thea Ayad as Director of Program Management, and I have no idea what that means. But congratulations.
Managing programs.
Yeah, indeed. And Joe Stone as Manager of Financial Planning and Analysis. Yeah. So jobs all over the place at Stern. Congratulations to everybody there who's taken up one of those new positions.
Yeah, so lots of new faces. I suppose people should be wearing a "Hello, I am."
Yes, that's right.
Sticker.
Yeah, should have a whole board up as people go in saying who the new people are. But it's not just saying
people
hello.
Coming in. No, exactly. It's also saying goodbye in multiple meanings, I would say.
Yes, that's right. Yes, very sad. Announcement from Stern was the death of Shelley Sachs Eldridge.
Yeah.
Shelley Sachs, as we knew originally, back from the very early days of working with Gary and Joe setting up Data East Pinball. And then
1986 we're talking about.
Wow, yeah. That's right. Yes, helped found the company in 1986, and it was it was a very small team then. So it was doing lots of roles in receptionist, purchasing, bookkeeper, personnel manager, office manager.
She was the driving force behind the company for a very long time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she was actually running the company really for a significant amount of time, particularly when Gary was off at shows or visiting dealerships or distributors. She looked after the factory, and very sad to see her passing after all these years.
Retirement, and recent retirement. She only retired a couple of months ago.
That's true. Yes. Yeah, she'd been fighting cancer for quite a few years. I think we knew that, but very sad when someone like that leaves us, because she had such a bearing on the development of that company, and really made it what it is today.
Right. Yeah. So rest in peace, Shelley Sachs Eldridge. Indeed,
and but she's not the only. Well, as you said, she retired a few months ago, but she's not the only retiree, because anyone who's been to the Stern factory and visited the parts department would be familiar with Dorothy Brown, or Doc Brown. Yeah, who was the the manager of I think he was parts manager, I think, for the company.
Yeah.
And has been with them for nearly 20 years, I think, and. Had not the same extent as Shelley, but she certainly had a number of roles within the company. Dorothy, it is, and she will be sadly missed as well. Somebody who knew the stock of the games. Absolutely. Yeah. Couldn't have put it better. Yeah.
And there was a very nice person to deal with whenever there was a factory tour or anything. She was always very, very helpful, at least to me. But I hear good stories from other people as well who basically reached out to Dorothy if they needed something, and she helped them to their best of her ability. So
wish her a very happy and long retirement.
Exactly. Yeah, and hopefully, maybe she'll be back for some factory tour or pinball expo show or something like that.
Yeah, some reunion. That'd be good.
Or maybe she's just glad to have no more pinball in her life.
Yeah, probably. Probably sick to death a bit by now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can round up the Stern Pinball news, I think, by just a couple of code updates, which we can skip over very lightly, because Foo Fighters had a new update, version 0.96 on the 10th of July, which was really just a bug fix of some issues which came up in version 0.95, which was announced or was released just before. So nothing new in that, just to make the previous version work properly. And James Bond also had an update. Not a huge amount there. There was a Chaos at Crab Key Wizard mode was added, which is a 2-stage mode with reverse flippers, and has a new high score entry on the high score table if you to see who scores the most points. And it's one of those modes that when you complete it, it finishes. It doesn't carry on forever. So all the balls drain, and then you start again. Right. So there's some new topper light shows. This is in version 0.94, which came out at the 6th of July. Mm-hmm. And a few rules and behaviour changes, plus, we call them bug fixes, and Stern called it improvements for correctness and performance.
Right, which means they didn't get it right the first time.
Well, every new feature introduces new bugs, so or opportunities for improvements to correctness and performance.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. That was it. That was at the start. Since the 10th of July, there hasn't been any new code coming out for any games from Stern.
Yeah, it's been relatively quiet. Well, it has been quiet, basically.
So. Yeah, in that regard, anyway. I'm sure they're all busy working on new games. So, or maybe there'll be some dramatic updates coming out soon.
Oh, well, we don't know, but...
Well, you're speculating about rolling out some of the enhancements that were in Venom onto previous games. So perhaps we'll see, 20 game updates coming out all at once with new features.
Right. So,
or not. Yeah. Right, so anyway, let's move on to our second headline, which was from Australia and about Haggis Pinball.
Right.
You remember last month we were
anticipating the announcement of the new let's call it revisited game that Haggis would announce, which was at that point moments away, and it turned out to be, as we speculated, indeed, Centaur.
Yes, indeed. Yeah,
the very well-known, I would say, black and white game from 1981 with Paul Ferris artwork.
Yes, strikingly original design there, doing it in mostly black and white, with just coloured inserts really, and a bit of writing on the playfield.
Yeah, but anyway, a few red accents in the artwork as well, but that's it.
Yeah. So Centaur Revisited was announced, a limited edition of two different models. There's the Beast Edition, which is the lower price one, which there'll be 250 made, or maximum 250, I should say. And then there was the much more exclusive Oblivion Edition, of which only 50 games are going to be made.
Right, and I believe the Oblivion Edition, you either have the option to choose for a black and white playfield or a colored playfield.
Yes, apparently some customers have been asking to add some colour to the playfield, which to me kind of defeats the whole purpose of the artwork in that it's so strikingly monochromatic.
Right,
but if people want them and are willing to pay, and it's not a small premium, because the Beast Edition had a launch price of 15,000 Australian dollars, which is equivalent to about 10,000 US dollars, or just over 9,000 euros, plus applicable sales taxes. So that's 15,000 Australian dollars. But the Oblivion Edition, of which are only 50, is priced at 25,000 Australian dollars. So 2/3 as much again, which is equivalent to 16,700 US dollars, or just over 15,000 euros.
Which probably explains why. Again. Which probably explains why both models are still available in the web shop of Haggis, I believe.
Yeah, when it was limited to a total of 300 machines, people were thinking, well, that's not very many. They're going to sell out in next to no time. And yet, I checked literally just before we started recording this, and you can order both versions through the Haggis website at this moment by putting down a deposit of 2,000 or 3,000 Australian dollars, I should say.
Right. So if you figured you missed out because you found out too late, you still have a chance to buy the game.
Yes, absolutely. Now, those prices both include free shipping within Australia and free shipping of a complete container of 40 games to Planetary Pinball in the US, from which point you'd have to pay for delivery from Planetary Pinball. But that is only if they can do an entire container of 40 games, and given the way that that Haggis sort of produce games in sort of it's not entirely clear, shall we say, when any particular game is going to be made available. And it might be that if your game is the first one to go into the container of 40, then you might have to wait
another 39 games.
4 months for another 39 games going to the same destination.
Right.
Now, so if they all go, 39 games going to the US, who also, all the buyers of whom all want to have it shipped with the container and don't want to air freight it over separately. So it's a little unclear exactly when you will get your game by going that way.
Yeah. Okay. So, but kudos to Haggis Pinball for revisiting Centaur.
Yeah, indeed. It's a very striking looking game. It's got a couple of LCD panels on the apron at the bottom. Has a topper, mirrored chrome artwork, RGB lighting, of course, and RGB displays. The alphanumeric displays, of course, not DMD or LCD. Mm-hmm. And both versions have the option of the original game code or the 2.0 game code, which, if Fathom's anything to go by, will add a whole new dimension to the game, because I think that particular code, the 2.0 code for Fathom, was very well received. I think people like the way that plays. The Oblivion edition, which is the higher priced one, adds inner cabinet artwork, enhanced topper with extra lighting, additional multi-ball mode in the rules, custom voice call-outs, which aren't in the Beast edition. Mm-hmm. Apparently has black balls, black targets, laser etched side rails, and this is all a bit cheesy, but it comes with an airbrushed motorcycle helmet and a leather jacket, whether you want them or not. So, and as John,
whether it's your size or not,
yeah, one size fits no one. One of those. Also, as you said, has the option to have a colorized playfield artwork, which some buyers have requested. I guess you get to choose what color it's going to be. So, it went on sale at 11 a.m. Australian time on Wednesday, the 12th of July. Which seems a lifetime ago now, but wasn't all that long ago. And as he also said, both are still available. We don't know how many of either are available, but if you want one of them, head over to haggispinball.com and check out the game on their website, and you can order it through them for a 2,000 Australian dollar deposit for the Beast and 3,000 for the Oblivion.
Right. Okay. And you discovered something else rather interesting regarding scientific games.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned Scientific Games as being the licensor of Williams Electronics rights through Planetary Pinball Supply (PPS) for use in the remakes. Well, I noticed on the wording of the Fathom, the Centaur Revisited documentation, that company has actually changed its name now. So no longer called Scientific. Well, they use the name Scientific Games, but they are now called Light and Wonder, or basically LNW, Light and Wonder, LNW.com. Reading the information on the press announcement that came out, which you must have missed at some point, it says Scientific Games Corporation will now do business as Light and Wonder Inc., a game company singularly focused on creating great games and leveraging technology to enable a seamless player experience across all platforms. which obviously includes pinball as well. So you probably won't see Scientific Games name appearing on future 2.0 or remakes, but you will see Light and Wonder or LNW.
Right.
So don't be too confused when you see that.
No. Well, I wasn't, but thanks for clearing that up.
Good. Well, in case you think it's a new company that's might have taken over the rights for Williams Games.
I was wondering about that, but no.
No, it's the same one, different name.
Yeah, okay. So, moving on to Haggis Pinball.
Ah, yes. Mm-hmm.
From France, a new company who recently introduced us to their Space Hunt game. And apparently orders are significant enough for them to move to a larger facility.
Yeah, still in the Bordeaux region of France, but didn't actually specify any numbers about how many games have been ordered. But looked like they moved to a new factory unit. They shared a couple of photos from their new place on their Facebook page. Doesn't really show very much. There's one game in the factory and a blank playfield. So still early days, but it's good that they are looking forward and ahead to building their games and in reasonable numbers as well. So congratulations to Haggis Pinball, the team there, and we look forward to seeing their Space Hunt game and playing it before too much longer.
Right, yeah, so hopefully they will be at Pinball Expo.
I expect so, yeah.
Yeah, or maybe even the UK Pinball Open or the Pinball thing in August.
I don't think the UK Pinfest, it hasn't been announced that Haggis Pinball will be there, but you never know. There's still time. It's not very far for them to just hop across the channel and bring a game. I'm sure they'll be very welcome and we'll be able to have a nice display. Of their work, because it looks a very interesting game to me, and as a launch title, we want to see what they've the approach they've taken to making their game.
Right. Okay. So, well, while sticking in Europe, let's move to Pinball Brothers, located in Sweden.
Yes, indeed. They've just started production of the Champions Edition of their Queen game. They've been doing the Rhapsody edition before now. So the Champions Edition is the lower end model, I believe. But some good news if you were looking to buy one. I don't know whether this applies to people who've already bought them, but they say they have adjusted the manufacturer's suggested retail price downwards by a total of $300 from $9,295 to $8,995. So just under $9,000 now.
Right.
If you want to get one of those, get hold of your local distributor to find out the total
final price tag. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's taxes and shipping and various things, but
markups and what have you.
Yeah, but the total cost, at least to the distributors, has dropped by $300 for the Champions Edition.
Right.
So it's not often we see a price decrease. So we should applaud that. Yeah. Well done, Pinball Brothers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So and they also ran a contest to be the first to reach 5 billion points on Queen.
Yeah, and the winner of that contest was Josh Riggle, aka the Wriggler. He managed to achieve that first and picks up a $100 prize.
Okay, and did he reach that with the glass on or off?
Well, I guess we'll never know, but one would like to think it was done in a legitimate way. I'm sure it was. I'm sure Josh would never do anything other than that.
I don't know Josh that well. I'm just...
I know, yeah.
Being quirky, I suppose, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, mischievous, shall we say, yes. Yes. Well, anyway, I think there hasn't been a huge amount of news from Pinball Brothers, but so that kind of wraps up our coverage of their events in the month of July. So let's move all the way over.
Actually, I was suggesting to go to Pedretti Gaming, related to Pinball Brothers, of course.
Okay, very good, yes.
As their contract manufacturer and partner in Euro Pinball. They did they released a code update for Rudy's Funhouse Rudy's Nightmare, the conversion kit, which now includes a speed run for Evil Rudy.
Yeah, a bit like the one that's on Venom as well, for how long it takes you to complete the entire game. Well, they do it for how long it takes you to complete the Evil Rudy wizard mode for Funhouse. So that's new in version 1.0, which is always a good sign. That came out on the 6th of July and includes a number of other changes, feature changes, bug fixes. Won't go through them all, in fact, won't go through any of them because it's far too many, but a very worthwhile update if you were one of the purchasers of the Rudy's Nightmare Funhouse conversion kits from Pedretti Gaming, who, as you say, with Pinball Brothers, have the Euro Pinball Corporation manufacturing facility to produce Queen and Alien games and whatever their third title will be.
Yeah, which, we know it's in the works. I wonder whether we might be able to see that this year at some show, at some point.
I would have thought so. I thought it was actually originally supposed to be announced this summer.
Okay, so
maybe even last month, but it did.
And then I missed it.
Yes, well, me too. I think it may have been delayed by various reasons, or for various reasons, but no, I wouldn't expect it to be that much longer. But I suppose now they're getting their teeth into building the Champions Edition of Queen, then they have to start looking forward or looking ahead to their next title. And whether we'll see it later in the year, I don't know, but I certainly expect to see it announced fairly shortly.
Okay.
Although we've been saying that about various announcements, and no, obviously it's not something that we have any inside knowledge of exactly when this announcement is going to take place. Each company times it according to contractual obligations, and if it is a license, and also according to when they think there's the best time to announce it as far as sales go.
Right. Okay. Now, finishing off the news about Pedretti Gaming, they're currently in the process of building Whirlwind Total Chaos units, and they did share an image of about 15 of those kits being shipped to Cointaker in America. And what I've been hearing is that a lot of people who were skeptical at first about an upgrade for Whirlwind, once they had the chance to actually play it, were completely turned into believers, so to speak, and enthusiastic about this update, as it really enhances the game, so to speak.
Yeah, I think it's a nice. If you actually read the modes, it doesn't convey just how well integrated they are into the gameplay. So it sounds a bit weird, and some of the modes the titles even sound weird, but when you're actually playing it, it all makes a lot more sense. So it's understandable that now people are getting their hands on it and installing it and playing the game. They're starting to sort of be a lot more enthusiastic about it and spreading the word. So let's hope that's another winner in the same way that Rudy's Nightmare was for Funhouse.
Okay, so moving back to North America, only this time Canada, with Pinball Adventures.
Yes, they were exhibiting at the recent YegPin show, where they had their own stand, and they had their current Punny Factory game set up for people to play. Now, I didn't read any sort of direct comments from that show, not being able to be there myself, but I did see from the pictures that it had a show price sticker on it that said $6,000. Now, I'm guessing since YegPin is in Canada, that this is Canadian dollars, which would make sense because they're a Canadian company at a Canadian show. So you think $6,000. If that's true, then that means that it's a US price of $4,500 US, which sounds very achievable to me.
Very reasonable for a new game.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people have sort of misgivings about both Pinball Adventures and the Punny Factory theme, but at that kind of price, I think you'd be willing to take a punt and try it and see whether you enjoy it or not. I mean, you're not going to lose a lot if you decide to resell it, are you? I'm guessing there are various taxes and bearing in mind this was a show special, so it was in Canada. If you want to bring it back to the US, you'd have to pay duty when you take it over the border and all that kind of stuff, so which is a bit of a nightmare, I know. Anyway, still nice to see for Canadians, even with sales tax on top of that, 6,000 Canadian dollars, nice price. I hope Andrew got some good sales out of that show, which looked a great show, by the way. If I don't mention it any other time, really impressive looking set up there, and some nice vendors as well. So one other thing Pinball Adventures have been doing is on their Instagram account, they've been showing just a little short video of some art from their Elements game, which is
to be debuting at Pinball Expo.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, we look forward to seeing it there. Not much to show on the video, but it's just a little bit. So if you go to Instagram and look for Pinball Adventures there, you can see some pictures. I think it also has some pictures from the Yegpin show as well. So you can see what I'm talking about when I'm saying what a nice looking show it was.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that.
Okay. Very welcome. So next company.
Jersey Jack Pinball.
Wow, and I was going to say a busy month, but quiet month would probably be more accurate, I think, at least as far as news goes. I'm sure it's far from quiet at the factory, but not much in the way of announcements.
Speaking of the factory, they did start manufacturing the collector's editions of The Godfather.
Yeah, that's the top end model.
Yes, yeah. So that should keep them busy for some time, I suppose.
Yes, and seeing some pictures of those games on the line, they look amazing. You know, it's because they are so rich and ornate, and seeing a whole row of them lined up, it just it's an impressive sight. Put it that way.
Right. And we mentioned Mark Tremonti earlier on when we were discussing Stern Pinball. On the social media of Jersey Jack Pinball, they did share a video, which you can also find on YouTube, by the way, of the orchestral recordings for The Godfather, including Mark Tremonti singing that The Godfather theme, so to speak. Yeah. And interestingly, it appears that Eric Meunier and Jack Guarnieri also did their parts in that recording.
I've seen Eric singing the theme as well. That's one of the hidden Easter eggs within it. There is the video of him doing that. I haven't seen one of Jack though. So that's what was Jack's involvement with that exactly?
Well, he sang it once. I'm not sure how good it was, and I'm not sure whether they kept it in. But the video mentioned that he did sang it once. So, and apparently tied in with the orchestral behind the scenes video, there is a sort of a giveaway. Take a Chance for Charity is giving away a 50th anniversary Godfather Pinball limited edition game. Wow. And there's a link which links to the TremontiSingsSinatra.com website for where you can enter for a chance to win. So if you want to win a Godfather pinball machine, you should probably look that up and see if you're eligible to win and enter and what have you.
Well, that's a great prize. I want to know which machine has got Jack though singing "Speak Softly, Love" in it. Whether it's just Jack's personal machine or whether it's another hidden Easter egg within every machine.
I'm not sure. I don't know if there are any backing vocals that we might hear Jack all the time and not be aware of it.
Ooh, interesting. Well, there was a picture shared on social media of him in the recording studio.
Yes.
So he wasn't just there as an observer then. So who knows? We'll have to get him on the PINcast, won't we? And we can ask him more about that. So maybe we'll invite him on next month, and he can tell us about the recording session.
Right. Okay. So that sort of rounds it up for Jersey Jack Pinball this month. Like we said, they're so busy building pinball machines, but news-wise, it was a rather slow month.
Yes, indeed, and not much different up a little further north, up at Spooky Pinball up in Wisconsin.
Right.
They're still busy building their Scooby-Doo games, which is understandable. It's a very nice-looking game, and we look I certainly look forward to getting some more playtime on it, because we didn't get a huge amount at the Texas show, and I haven't seen one since.
Yeah, but it was a very fun playing game, surprisingly fun playing game, yes.
Yeah, well, since then, there's been new code added, and this month there were actually 2 code drops. There was one which added a new Shaggy mode, as the character, not anything else, and then shortly after there was an even newer code came out, which added a Daphne mode, also add speeded up the kick out from the mystery machine. That's one of the things I think everybody noticed when they played it for the first time. That when you shoot the ball into the bus, the mystery machine, it took a long time for the ball to come back onto the playfield. Well, I think that's been sped up. For that. It doesn't take that long, but it took a while. But anyway, they said it's been sped up now, and there will be further improvements to that coming. So not quite sure how that's going to happen, but congratulations on listening to customer and player feedback and taking steps to address that particular issue. Other things which are pretty much about housekeeping, about all the menu items are saved now every time you update the game, and so all the audits. And a few minor bug fixes. So not much more to say about the code, and the code is the only thing we had to say anything about from Spooky Pinball this month.
Yeah, okay. Well, there's one more thing. With new code, Spooky tends to do a live stream video of the new rules. And I
normally do bug thing, yeah.
Yeah, and it's scheduled for tonight.
Oh, okay.
Which is what day are we today?
The 3rd of August.
Yes. Yeah, so
by the time you hear this, you probably missed it.
You probably missed it, right?
But I'm sure it will be available.
You might still be in time, and else you can always watch the replay on YouTube, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be there, or Twitch, or one or the other, certainly. So have a look on the Spooky's social media feeds as soon as you hear this, and you will either find details about the stream that's taking place tonight, or where you can watch it.
Right. Okay.
Now, we started off by talking, well, our third headline was about lots of new appointments, so we already covered quite a few.
Yes, at Stern Pinball.
Yes, at Stern Pinball, but there's still more to come. And, we'll talk about Multimorphic now, down in Texas.
Yeah.
And they have announced that Nick Baldridge has joined the Multimorphic team as customer support representative.
Right, during non-office hours, as far as I understood.
Yeah, sorry about that. Just having a little cough there because I have a slight cold at the moment. But
I didn't realize what I was saying was seriously causing you to cough.
It was so outlandish. I couldn't believe it. I was choking on the words. No, but so we know Nick very well from the games that he's built for the P3 pinball platform, and from his long time championing of bingo games and building his own bingo game, multi-bingo game. So
for amusement only company.
He does his podcasts, I think. Certainly does. He's very active and proactive in the enthusiast realms, shall I say. Mm-hmm. And so an all-round good guy, and he knows the P3 inside out, so it's great that he is now helping helping Multimorphic as part of the team in providing customer support requests outside normal business hours, because it kind of sounded to me a bit like, well, he's always working on the game anyway, so he might as well answer some questions about it during that time as well,
right?
And become part of the team.
Now, speaking of Nick's games that he programmed for the P3, Drained, Silver Falls, Rhythm Explosion, and Ranger in the Ruins, they got software updates as well, including the possibility to add medals or achievements, and some new gameplay features, and a new speaker live kit support.
Yeah. So very nice for those people who bought those games for their P3 platform to get new code updates across all four of them from Nick. So he's been busy doing that.
Yeah. So, but it's not all about Nick, of course. The company is still run by Jerry Stellenberg, who sent out a sort of monthly update about the company, which contains some good news, I suppose. He informed us that they hired more production staff and a production manager, which results in the reduction of delays and waiting times. If you order a complete P3 machine now, chances are you get it within 6 months. Which is different than when, for example, Heist was announced. Then there was a waiting time of 12 months.
Yeah, at least 12, if not 14. Yes, months.
Right. Yeah. So and all game kit orders except Final Resistance have been caught up by now. Production problems with the building of Final Resistance. Well, they were expecting to start shipping Final Resistance at the start of July, but due to these issues that they run into, there's no exact date for the start of production given right now, which means that the problem hasn't been solved yet, and it's probably and this is just me guessing. This might have to do with supply chain issues.
Yeah, if you come across something and requires a new part to be fabricated, then obviously there are lead times on getting those parts, or the way the part is made needs to be changed to make it more resilient and stronger, or to avoid ball hang-ups. Then it can be months before you can actually get those new parts delivered.
Right, but the good news is, once those parts are in, production will be quicker than they originally expected. So you will get your game quicker once they finally start.
Yeah, so if you're waiting for your game and you're at the start of the queue, it will take longer to get that than you were originally expecting. But if you're further down the queue, you'll probably get them at least as when you expected to, if not sooner. So that's good. Now that the production will happen faster once it actually starts. And and the other good thing about that is for Final Resistance is that they will those kits will ship with the latest code, which is currently feature complete at version 1.0.0.0. So so everything in it that's intended to be in it when you actually get the kit.
Okay, so and that sort of rounds it up for.
Just one other thing that we mentioned this in previous months, that Jerry has also been sort of introducing various members of the team who work at Multimorphic on social media, and he's continuing to do that. So this past month there's been a couple, including Stephen Silver, who's a well-known designer of Heist, amongst other games, and if you want to find out more about him and other members of the Multimorphic team, head over to Multimorphic social media feeds. Probably the Facebook page is the best one to go to get more information.
Well, I was going to say, Jerry has been doing this so long, some of the members he already introduced already retired. by now. No, I kid.
I know. No, not yet. No. It's always good to know who's at the company and who to contact as well, and who to thank or ask questions of when you see them at shows.
Yeah. So. Yeah, okay. That does round it up for Multimorphic for now. I did notice that you wrote some notes on Cardona pinball design.
Yes. Well, we mentioned before about their new Black Rose Skull and Bones kit, and the fact that it was kind of shown at shows, but hasn't been available to purchase yet, and it's still not available to purchase yet. Which is a bit of a surprise. I thought it would be available by now. But if you go to the CardonaPinball.com site, you can read about it, but you can't actually order it yet. But you can order their No Good Gophers Battle for the Green. That is available now through Planetary Pinball, Cointaker, I should say, and other distributors. So that if you want to, you're itching to add another 2.0 or upgrade kit to one of your games, you can do No Good Gophers, but you can't quite yet do Black Rose. We'll let you know as soon as that becomes available.
Right, okay. So, moving on to, where do you want to go?
Let's pop round the corner from your place and talk about Dutch pinball.
Yeah, I just signed an NDA. I can't discuss anything.
Okay, so moving on. That's what we can do. We do have some news we can report.
Yes. We do. But I did. I was at the factory yesterday for a project that I cannot discuss. Also because it's we still have to see whether it ever will see the light of day. And it does not exactly involve Dutch pinball, but Barry was kind enough to give us a little corner in the factory to play around with something to see whether that will ever see the light of day. So I was in the corner of the factory playing around with...
I think we better move on quickly to things that we can talk about.
But while I was there, what did surprise me is to see the number of people he has on in the assembly process currently working, even though it is holiday time, holiday season, I should say. So 3 or 4 people were not present, and I still was impressed with how many people were working there building a Big Lebowski game. So I thought I'd mention that.
Right. Okay. Good. Well,
and the official news is...
Yes, I was going to say there is an official announcement.
Yes, exactly. And that changes things slightly into a more professional manner, I would say, for Dutch pinball, in the sense that they appointed Pinball Pleasure, the company run by Christophe Linard, who is, for example, distributor for Jersey Jack in France and Belgium and the Netherlands.
Indeed.
To assign him as their European master distributor as of the 1st of July of this year. And that means that Christoph is responsible for sales of the Big Lebowski in Europe, but he's also responsible for appointing resellers, so to speak, that purchase the game through him and then offer it, for example, in Germany. Mm-hmm. And in this case, we can already reveal 2 resellers who have been announced. The first one being Pinball Universe in Germany, and the second, Pinball Heaven in the UK.
Right. Now, I don't know whether... Well, I assume they were both selling the game previously anyway.
Yeah, but they probably got it directly from Dutch Pinball, and
indeed,
that this probably clears up the traffic, I suppose, involved in receiving calls from various resellers who want to order games and so on. Now it all goes through Christoph, and basically it's one phone call from Christoph. I need this many games, and then he takes care of distribution to whoever they ordered.
Yes, so there's kind of like one truck will go to Christoph for all the European sales. Another one will go to send the games to Cointaker for North American sales, or at least for US sales. And I don't know about in Canada whether Nitro is a distributor for them over there. But so they haven't got to deal with each distributor individually, or each country's distributors individually. So it makes it a lot simpler for Barry, and but also puts another stage in the process.
Right. So,
which probably means another. Well, I haven't seen an announcement of a price increase, so maybe that hasn't happened. But so congratulations to Christoph in getting the master distributorship for Europe.
Yeah.
And we look forward to seeing those games, being more available across the whole of the continent.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. And obviously,
and future titles as well, of course.
Which are still some time away, as we discussed last month. But more stuff in the works at Dutch Pinball that I can't talk about right now. But as soon as we can, you'll be the first to hear it here. Right.
Good. Okay. Well, then, if we can't say any more about them, then we'll move on to our next company, and we'll head over to Taiwan, where Homepin have been busy with This Is Spinal Tap game.
Yes, I signed an NDA. I can't talk about that.
It's a good job that only one of us signs an NDA. Else we wouldn't have anything to say at all. But we can say that the Homepin have been posting a few pictures on Facebook, showing 6 of their This Is Spinal Tap pinball machines being assembled in their factory. Mike Kalinowski said, everyone here is starting to get a handle on the workflow. We will be shipping out our first full container within a couple of weeks. Finished machines are being tested and packed. So that's good. Nice that game's actually getting out in some kind of quantity now, or about to. Next couple of weeks, he says. And of course, container presumably means going via sea. So that's probably be quite a few more weeks before they actually end up in their destination. Mm-hmm. Not a huge amount more to say. I was looking at the pictures of the game, and I noticed they did have a large toroidal transformer in the bottom of the cabinet. Now, toroidal transformers are normally reserved for higher quality products like audio equipment, where you need a transformer which is more capable of delivering power quickly and reliably, much better than a sort of switching power supply, or even just a sort of on the square block transformers. So toroidal transformers tend to have a lot more stability to them, which is generally a good sign. So nice to see Homepin putting a quality transformer in the bottom of their game. The rest of the playfield looked suitably high quality as well, but we could only see the bottom of it from the pictures from the factory, at least in this most recent update. But it's a good sign anyway, and nice to see that the game will be heading out of the factory in the next couple of weeks.
Right. Okay. Now, in our notes that we are sharing, all the way at the end, we also have a little bit other news related to the Scandinavian pinball factory, which despite the name, they're actually located in Taiwan as well.
Yeah, so Norway and Taiwan. Now, I'm not entirely sure how much news this is, how new this news is, but I did see about them announcing an upcoming game called Troll, which will be made, Troll the Pinball Machine, which will be made in conjunction with fellow Taiwan pinball company we've just been talking about, Homepin.
Homepin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good link. Yeah, nice bridge there. So, which they originally said is supposedly for release in 2023. That's what it said when I first saw it earlier this month, or early last month, I should say, about the month we're talking about. But more recently, just before we started doing this recording, I checked again, and that has been changed to 2024 now. And there's no more detail about them working with HomePin on the Troll game.
Huh.
Well, whether they're not working with them, I don't know, or whether that's maybe not something they want to publicise so much at the moment, because HomePin are busy building their own game.
Mm-hmm. But they are still a distributor for HomePin parts.
Indeed, they have a website called homepinstore.com, where they sell HomePin parts, and worldwidepinball.com, where they sell. It was a parts store for other part resellers, not for retail direct customers. So this is, for your local pinball company, they could buy from worldwidepinball.com. And they ship the parts from their base, as you mentioned. They have a base in Taiwan.
Right, okay.
So let's do home, of course.
This Troll game, do we know anything about it? What it will be like?
Well, there's a list of features. They said it will have 3 flippers, a big rotating troll that shoots silver balls. Well, I assume they're pinballs. A big mountain loaded with tunnels and caves, which sounds an interesting multi-way feature. Has magnets. Off with the head, an active and quite brutal goblin with an axe. Wow, you better be careful how you play this game. A multitude of multi-ball modes. You can play as a troll hunter, or a priest. There you go. Choose your character again. You'll love this. With a combination of speed and strategy shots, Newton ball, kickback, shaker motor, 8-ball game apparently, and a wide body. So wide bodies are having a little bit of a comeback, aren't they? After Scooby-Doo, and
I suppose we just have to keep an eye on the Scandinavian Pinball Factory website to see whether there is any news on this troll game, or whether they are trolling us.
Oh, hey, well done, bravo, sir. Yeah, well, it'd be nice to think it. We will have another pinball manufacturer out there, another one based up in Scandinavia, this one in Norway and Taiwan. So it sounds like they have the manufacturing facilities in Taiwan, and the maybe the distributorship for Europe based in Norway. So and if they're working with HomePin as well, they have a lot of knowledge about the game and construction and design.
Right. Okay. So, moving back to the US.
Yeah. Where were we? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes. Now, this is a bit of news that you came up with from a company. Well,
actually, I didn't come up with it. I found it.
You found it.
I found it. I've seen a light. No, I kid. Net Arcade did a little research on trademark, as they quite often do, actually, and they discovered that Tilt Bob Pinball, the company founded by Bob Neese, who is the known for his homebrew game Elf, which won a couple of awards, I believe. He founded this company, Tilt Bob Pinball, and they trademarked the name Tilt Bob Pinball, as well as the name for their first game, which is going to be Road Trip.
Okay.
That's a concept that we've seen quite a few times, actually.
Certainly have.
In pinball, in Roadshow, Vacation America, and there's probably a couple of other titles that we can think of.
Yeah, sort of like Harley Davidson type games as well.
Yeah,
Road Kings.
Yeah. So, and there's Jason, who runs Nep Arcade, reached out to Bob, found out some more details about the game. If you want to read everything, I suggest you go to neparcade.org. But Road Trip is currently being designed as a 4-flipper wide body game.
Oh, there we go again.
With an original theme, of course. No references to any existing movies or pinball machines. And of course, more to come. We still have to see how Tilt Bob is going to first of all design and then take this design into production. As the last time we mentioned them, they were still operating from the garage of Bob, so we'll just have to wait and see. But at least the first steps are being taken into taking things very seriously with a trademark registration. So good news on that end.
Yeah, I wish them well and hope they are able to bring out the game and also have it at a reasonable price, which is one of probably the biggest challenge I think for any new company is to be able to keep the cost of manufacturing down to something that's affordable and comparable to other games, because otherwise it'll always be compared to, am I going to buy this for this price, or am I going to buy a Godfather for the same price, or a Venom LE or something for that price,
Yeah.
So it's a tough market out there with so many companies, but we do wish them well.
Right. Okay. Now, Chicago Gaming didn't have much news, although Josh Sharp did appear or did an interview with the Pinball Chinwag podcast, episode 66. One of the things he revealed about Pulp Fiction is that the main reason for showcasing the game at the Texas Pinball Festival was that the game had to be announced before March 31st of this year. That was a contractual obligation, else they would lose the license and would be in deeper trouble, I suppose. Even though they were not apparently capable of going into production immediately, they did show the game, and a couple of games since appeared on location and at various shows. So everybody is, as far as I can tell, very enthusiastic about this game title, and we're still waiting for production updates from Chicago Gaming. But there's no news on that, so we can't discuss that.
Nope, they're busy building their own games at the moment, so they're working on their Cactus Canyons. So and it seems that the production of those is pretty slow as well at the moment. So they probably still have to get those done before they can start working on Pulp Fiction. But not scheduled, I don't think, until next year now. So we do look forward to seeing it when it does come out, because it's a good fun game. But hopefully we'll get a chance to play it when we go to Chicago in October. But no guarantees, and until then we just have to wait and move on to our next company.
Yeah, well, then we have to wait for news from those companies, because there's actually quite a list of companies that we have no news from.
Yeah.
So we'll just list them quickly. American Pinball.
No news.
Bitronic Spain.
No news.
Quetzal Pinball Spain.
Also no news.
Turner Pinball.
Still no news.
Still no news. Circus Maximus.
Continuing to be no news.
And the new mysterious pinball company that has been teasing us the last couple of months.
With emails just saying that they are there. But no news, no teases or promotions this month.
Okay, or we missed them at the Southern Fried show, but I didn't see anything pop up or
no, or me.
Yeah. Okay, so then there is the other news section, which in this case is entirely dedicated to Deeproot.
Oh, yes. Yes, that's right. We covered everything else already. So just a little quick wrap-up of Deeproot news for those still following this particular story. Now, remember last month reported that the SEC and Robert Mueller went to... They had a meeting and they tried
to settle something.
Yeah, tried to settle it out of court. Didn't happen. Went to arbitration and couldn't agree on anything. So it was going to be go back to the court for a court trial date, which has now been set for the 4th of December this year. That may move, of course, according to various court demands or for motions for delay. But 4th of December 2023 at 10:30 a.m. That'll be, I guess that'll be Texas time. So we look forward to seeing what happens about that. In the meantime, before then, there are various deadlines.
Will there be a live stream from that court case?
Don't know at the moment. There's not. I haven't seen anything put in place yet, but it's a while away yet. So we'll let you know if anything is going to be available, and we'll obviously update you on any developments in the meantime. One of which is that a law firm acting for the bankruptcy trustee, that's the people who lost money in the various deep root companies, put in a claim for their work and expenses of $241,000 for the 4 months, February to May. So there's a lot of work going on there, and they did itemise it all, and it's I'd like to say it's interesting reading, but it isn't. Having read it, I can tell you that. So so that brings their total expenses, I think, now to more than $1 million in trying to recover money.
Not the cheapest law firm they could find, I suppose.
Well, no, I guess they didn't go to bankruptcy lawyers or us.com or whatever. But one interesting point from that was some of the claims they put in are for work providing details of the case to the Department of Justice, as well as to the SEC. So that kind of adds to the suggestion there could be a federal indictment once the SEC's civil case concludes, and would be another reason why Robert might choose not to admit to any wrongdoing in the SEC case, as that could prejudice any defence he might have in any following criminal case. Okay, so it's a lot easier, if he holds out his claim of innocence throughout, then a criminal case would have to overcome that if he's admitted to doing wrongdoing before. Right. Then he's almost dropped himself in it. One other thing was that I noticed a law firm is working with a company called Tuyo, which actually takes us back to something we talked about earlier, because Tuyo is a joint company of Chris Turner of Turner Pinball and Greg Yost. They were the couple who bought the insurance policies from Robert Mueller's policy service company when everything collapsed. Apparently one policy was for $1.5 million and was expected to pay out when the insured person, it was a life insurance policy, when that person died, and they did recently, but then the issuer is saying that the policy had lapsed in the meantime, hadn't been maintained, and that company, Transamerica, is refusing to pay out. There's now a legal battle to prove it hadn't lapsed. Only interesting because the bankruptcy trustee, the one who's trying to get all the money for it, is due to get 50% of that payout if it happens. So that would be $750,000 more for those people who lost money in the Deep Root case. So at the moment, that's an ongoing legal battle to try and recover some more money from the ashes of the Deep Root Policy Services debacle. And that wraps it up for the Deep Root update for this month.
Well, that wraps it up for the Pinball Industry News for July 2023.
It does indeed, yes. So thank you for listening to this month's PINcast. We'll be back at the start of September with our next monthly PINcast, looking back at all the excitement that took place in the pinball world throughout this month of August. So until then, from me, Martin Ayob of Pinball News.
And me, Jonathan Houston, the editor of Pinball Magazine.
We wish you a very, very happy August, and we'll see you at the start of September.
Okay. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.